Here is the endgame version for Elemental Sword, you burning bastards. Very similar to the build I made for early to mid game, with some tweaks to maximize damage potential. All the footage that you see has been recorded on New Game Plus. Build works like this in almost every case, meaning you're gonna melt everything. Primary stat is obviously heart, secondary one is magic, put 30 points into it so that we can have 35 magic capacity, and I've also put couple of points into dexterity so that we can use poison shurikens and traps and all that. Next to it all, we need 13 points into constitution minimum and 14 points into strength to wear Kingo set. I would advise putting some points into stamina as well, so that we can wear Tatenashi when we cannot have enough burst damage because some enemies can't be dealt backstab damage. Around 15 or 16 points should be enough for whole Tatenashi set to be available, without weight penalty limit. X should be your secondary weapon, and try to get stat called Rage Duration. Sword is part of Kingo's set, and you should have backstab damage, active skill, key damage, or if you cannot get backstab damage, then active skill damage or high stance active skill damage. As you can see, Kingo bonuses fit sword very well, and that is why I went with this set. Now this is important. On your accessories, try to get melee damage versus poisoned enemy. On both accessories try to get that, because it stacks, and that is one of the reasons why we do such massive damage against anyone that stands in our way. Tengen is our guardian spirit because of the stance based Amrita bonus, but also other things fit very well with this elemental sword build. Soul cores I would advise Arkasha because of faster movement speed through Amrita absorption and life drain from yokai ability, which is really an underrated stat, and also Yatsu no Kami because we're gonna get even more melee damage versus poisoned enemy. From sword tree we need these EI quick draw upgrades. Next to that try to get these nodes that increase maximum ki, and also Morning Moon. Morning Moon and EI quick draw are the only things that we are gonna use. Sword of Execution Mystic Art is the one that we want, so try to get that dojo mission done sooner rather than later. Next to that I would advise Armor Piercer that increases final blow damage, and Shadow Strike that increases damage from behind. Spells that we need are Protection, Extraction, Weakness, and Sloth. Next to that, get all of the elemental talismans that can put certain element on the weapon. Last thing would be elemental stop talismans. This is really good defensive option for any build. From ninjutsu, get poison shuriken, paralytic ground fire, snake bite technique, and blue nodes if you have some points remaining that decrease ki when dodging, running speed, and so on. From samurai tree, crucial things are damage boost heart and damage boost magic. Clan I would advise would be Takenaka because it just simply fits all that we are doing. Alright, so how to play this? We put protection and extraction, and then we use X buffs. You can use all 3 X buffs if you want, I leave that to you. Rage is mandatory though, because it increases damage dealt. Now we switch to sword and use any kind of elemental amulet, depending on the boss that we are facing. Upon entering the battle we can put either paralytic ground fire traps to prepare boss for inevitable EI quick draw, but we also need to put sloth, weakness and poison the enemy. Paralytic ground fire is an optional thing because not many bosses will allow enough time for you to put that thing on the floor. If you can, great, if not, don't bother with it. Instead use Sloth, that can slow down the enemy and that leaves their back quite vulnerable because then we can just dance around them and strike whenever we are behind an enemy. Note that bosses, whenever they go into Dark Realm, they lose debuffs, so you're gonna have to reapply Sloth and Weakness at least when that happens. Don't forget that after Morning Moon you can directly keep Pulse into Yai Quickdraw. It is faster like that, making it more viable during combat. Some enemies are quite immune to this build, like the one that I'm fighting right now. In this case, switch to Tatenashi set, apply Elemental Stop Talismans and just do the regular thing. You're gonna be extremely tanky with Tatenashi and Elemental Stop Talismans, so you can dish out damage through Morning Moon and spam Yatsu no Kami to deal with the enemy. Anyway, that's all for this build. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more Nioh 2 content.